Hi, my name is Russ Hamilton. I'm a retired sergeant from California Department of Corrections. And Anthony Ganji from Tier Talk asked that I make this short little video. This is going to be about manipulation. The reason that the topic is manipulation is because we're having the production of Escape from Dannemora come up this week. And so Anthony thought that would be an appropriate topic. So anyway, jumping right into things here, in corrections, when we use the word manipulation, everyone right away assumes that what we're talking about is a dirty cop, someone who's been co-opted or corrupted in some way. And yeah, that's the worst case scenario, and that's something we have to guard against. And one thing this video is about giving you concrete terms to think about that will clue you into when someone's being manipulated or when someone's trying to manipulate you. So anyway, starting right in there, we've got the 4 things that people react to that cause them to be manipulated. Those 4 things are, first of all, you've got platonic emotional friendship or acquaintanceship. And with an inmate, yeah, they shouldn't be your friend. They should only be acquaintances to a degree. But sometimes that can cause you to do a favor or to step over a boundary that can sometimes lead to something else. Anyone can be manipulated, but it's a matter of degree. So that's the thing you really want to look for, is whether or not you're stepping over a boundary. If you're not searching to the degree you should, if you're doing special favors, if you're cutting them slack in some disciplinary areas, that can all be an indicator that you're being manipulated. To a smaller degree than what happened at Dannemora, of course, but you're still being manipulated. The second one is romantic, emotional relationship that often has a sexual component or could have a sexual component to it. This, of course, is clearly out of bounds. But what about situations where it's just flirtation? Well, that can still be used to manipulate, and that can be used further on down the line to reach into deeper forms of manipulation that can start with things like extortion and so forth. So that's the second one you want to look out for. Third, of course, greed and money. It's essentially a financial relationship, and something's being exchanged. It's called a quid pro quo. It's one thing, this for that. It could be money, maybe it could be drugs, maybe it could be sex, maybe it could be some other consideration, some other something of monetary value. So anyway, the fourth one is fear, intimidation, and extortion. Those are the ones where you're being extorted to do something, possibly because you did something earlier on this list that led to something else. And so that's always one that we have to take into consideration. But one thing about this list that I've put out there for you is, remember, you can start with one and end with the last one. So anyway, in the platonic realm, friendship, acquaintanceship, can you do a favor? Can you talk to my counselor for me? Eventually, it could lead into something like bringing something in. I had an inmate who was a shot caller for the Nuestra Familia, and for whatever reason, he opened up to me and told me about how he had early on, as an inmate, corrupted and co-opted a female member into giving him sexual favors. And he later used that to turn to her bringing in drugs and so forth. And it was a matter of desensitization. It didn't start there with a sexual component. It just started with him cleaning her office every day. And then went from cleaning her office every day to bending down near her. And then it went from there to him accidentally brushing. And then one day to obviously purposefully touching her. So it was a matter of desensitization and degrees. And that, of course, is the romantic, emotional component of it, which was number 2. The third one, money, drugs, sex, where you've done something else on this list. Maybe you've been roped into doing something. Maybe you see a coworker who's been roped into doing something, and it's that quid pro quo. It's money for bringing in drugs or bringing in cigarettes or bringing in something, anything. And then fourth, you have the fear, intimidation, and extortion. You do anything on this list, it opens you up to that. And so what we see in what happened at Dannemora was we saw the full spectrum of this entire thing unfold. It didn't start out with a sexual component. It started out as friendship. They got friendly. Then they got close, and it turned into a sexual relationship. Then eventually she was bringing in things, and they were doing things for her. And then in the end, it turned out that they were having to or wanting to extort her, telling her that if she didn't do things, that they were going to tell on her. So that was all balled together in a big, nasty mess of things that happened. Keep these things in mind. You can keep yourself from being manipulated. You can stop manipulation of other staff, and you can potentially stop a critical incident like that which happened at Dannemora from happening. So anyway, peace out. Anthony, I hope you like this. Hope everyone gets something out of this particular video. Goodbye. Stay safe.